In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to apply the Barry Harris system to your playing, to your soloing. And of course, I'm going to start showing you the system and how it's built, what's the idea behind it. And then I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that you can do to expand your vocabulary while improvising. But first, I'd like to tell you that this is going to be a very simple, practical video so that you can, as soon as possible, blend this into your playing. But if you really want to dive deep into this concept, then I strongly suggest to check out the wonderful lesson of Robbie Barnby. He has a very, very good YouTube channel with wonderful in-depth lessons. And so check it out. I'm going to put the link in the description if you really want to see the whole picture about this concept. But so let's start right away, and let me show you how the system works in major, and then I'm going to show you how it works in minor. So in major, we take the C major scale as an example. And this scale is actually a scale that everyone knows, but what is the concept that he has? He adds one note, and basically it's like the bebop scale, the notes that are played. So we have 8 notes and not 7 notes, but it has a completely different function, this flat 6 that we added, because in the bebop scale it's just meant to be used in the melody as a chromatism, so that all the important notes land on the beat. But in that case, in the Barry Harris concept, he uses it for the whole harmony. And what that creates is this concept where you just have basically 2 chords that you can build on this scale. You can build the C major chord, so the release chord, and a diminished chord. And this diminished chord is actually the 5. It's like a G7 flat 9 without the root. So in another video, in the comments, somebody asked me, how's that possible if you take the root away? That's no longer a G7. But actually it is. In music there are many chords that are the same, and it depends what we hear on the bottom. So of course, if we don't have the root, we have to imagine it, or we need to have somebody else playing the root. But that doesn't mean that this chord doesn't have the effect of a G7, but there is no root. Now let me demonstrate that a little better. If you are confused right now, don't worry, it's actually pretty simple. So we have, of course, the notes to build a C major 6, so these notes. And we can play all the inversions of the C major 6 with these 4 notes. And then we have the other 4 notes of the scale, and with the other 4 notes, which are, maybe you can already hear, it's the diminished chord. So we have all the diminished chords that have the same notes, because of course, you know, it's a symmetrical chord. So you always have a minor third. And so you have D diminished, you have F diminished, you have A flat diminished, and you have B diminished. Now, to make it simple, let's just say we have C6 and D diminished. And of course, we do all 4 inversions of these chords. So we can harmonize this always as a 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. So we have what we love in music, which is tension and release once again. And so why is this concept interesting? Because if you are in C major, you can still imagine tension and release without just playing everything in C major with no tension, right? So if we harmonize that scale, that would be a C6, which is like an A minor 7. Then we have the diminished. This one would be a B diminished. Then we have the third. So we have our C6 again, then D diminished, then we have again C sixth, then we have F diminished, and then we have C sixth, and again the A flat diminished, and the C again, C sixth. So now let me demonstrate it once again, but let me always put the root on the bottom after I play the inversion. So for the first one, it would be C, then G, then C again, then G, then C, then G, then C, then G, then C. You see? So we always have 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. And why is that interesting for your solos? It's because you can then start to practice some arpeggios with it, and so you can build in your lines always a 5 and a 1, a 5 and a 1, even if there's no 5 and 1 in the comping in that moment. So the first exercise that you can do to expand your vocabulary and to create in your improvisations tension and release is the following. You imagine always, like we played the chords, we played an arpeggio of the chord, but instead of doing everything upwards, which is fine, you can do that, we can maybe try to do one upwards and the other one backwards. Then C, G, 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 for example. And of course we can also go back with the same concept, starting here. For example. And so you see how you can expand your C major, because instead of just playing the C major scale, which is fine, but now you can add some stuff. For example, so you see, maybe you can just blend it into your solos sometimes, and you already have expanded your vocabulary. And of course, you can do it also in minor. And to do it in minor, we're going to use the melodic minor scale. And in minor is actually the same exact thing. We don't have to learn much more. We just have to make the C6, instead of a C6, we made it a C minor 6. So we just have to move the E to an E flat. So we have, if we do the chords, we do, and if we harmonize that, then we have C minor 6, which is like an A half diminished. Then the diminished chords are exactly the same. Then minor 6, then minor 6, diminished, minor 6, diminished, minor 6. And of course, also in minor, you can do the same exact exercise with the arpeggios. So for example, minor 6, then diminished, minor 6, diminished. Same thing. So as you can see, it's also great to visualize everything on the fretboard. Also, sometimes I also had to think, okay, where can I go to do that, right? So this is a win-win if you do it. You understand better the fretboard and you have a new tool for your improvisation. So that's my very simple and practical way to use the Barry Harris concept. And thanks a lot for checking out the lesson, and see you for the next video.